Do you remember the scene in Three Idiots where Rancho, the character played by Amir Khan, discovered the body of Joy while he was committing suicide in his hostel room? Something similar happened in Karnataka near Chikmagalur on December 9th. 3 drone pilots, Sharath, Faisal and Shivu, were involved in a rescue mission to find a missing person, but in turn they found his dead body near a hilly region in Chikmagalur. They used their drones to find this body and complete this rescue mission. Let's talk to them to see how drones can be used for such rescue missions and what is the updates on latest drone technology. Let us talk to them. Can you tell us what exactly happened on December 9th? Like how you did the rescue mission? What was that like?
Well, on December 9th, at around 11:30 p.m., we got a message in the group. We do have a group called Mangaluru Drone Pilots, and there's a person called Sai Kiran. He has contacted us in the group saying that there is a rescue operation that needs a drone pilot to assist them. So there is also already a rescue team which is there in Chikmagalur. They actually went scanned to find the clue, but they couldn't find anything. So there was a contact number. I contacted him, and they said, "Okay." I said, "I am ready to go." So the challenge was they needed 3 people. So I contacted my friends in the group, and there was one person called Shiv. I called him. He said he is ready to join. And later on, Sharath has messaged me saying that he will also join us. Mm-hmm. So he was at Chandraipatna and his hometown. So we had to go and pick him up on the way. So we started from Bangalore around maybe 12 o'clock or something.
12 at the night?
Yes, okay. 12 o'clock. And then we reached 1.5 hours later to Chandraipatna and we picked up Sharath. Mm-hmm. So then we started our journey. So this the point was where they needed the search. It was called Rani Jari, okay, which is close to Chikmagalur and Shakileshpur. So we traveled all the way. It's around 4 to 5 hours journey. Mm-hmm. So morning around 5:30 we reached the point. And already a rescue team was there, present there, and did a search one day prior. So they couldn't find any clue. So we reached there and we had our breakfast there, and we headed over to the point where where they suspected the body to be found. So that was actually a suicide point.
Okay.
So we reached over there and all the forest rangers, everyone, police, everyone was cooperative. They assisted us, and we went to a parallel cliff to the suicide point where we could take off our drone from. So we reached that point. And we tested our drone there, and we have to go 200 to 300 meters below the mountain level in order to do the search.
Okay.
So that's how we started the search.
And how long did the search go on for, and how did you discover the body later?
Well, we reached that parallel mountain cliff, and they needed the team to be split into 2 groups, where one would go inside the jungle, the other one would fly from the top of the cliff. Okay. So Sharath took over flying from the top, and 2 of us, we got into a jeep and we went further down around 6 kilometers down the mountain. And we started our search over there. So first 2 to 3 hours we did everything possible what we could, and we couldn't get a clue, and we almost gave up. And then even the rescue team was on their way into the jungle. They were searching, and even they were having a lot of difficulty finding anything.
Yeah. So as Faisal said, it was more like a roller coaster ride for us, right? So we're not sure as to what would be the things that's happening around. As he said, it was almost early in the morning when we reached there, right? And we were taken to the spot by about 7:30, closer to that
In the
time.
morning, okay.
Yeah, in the morning, right?
We had our breakfast and then went ahead.
Correct. So we had a bunch of people who had joined in there, including cops, the rescue team, and also a couple of his family member, the guy's family member, right? And we started flying the drone at about 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Closer to 8:30, right? Yeah. It was almost like 2 hours. We flew our drones. We were scanning initially the surfaces of the mountain and also the forest to see if we could identify any of his belongings, right? So if the incidents has happened there. We couldn't actually find any of his belongings or any of that sort for closer to 2.5 hours. And as he said, we almost thought maybe it's a case that he might have run away somewhere, right? So probably is not
it's not
existent
there,
there,
yeah.
right? And that's when the rescue team also decided, okay, they want to take a walk in the jungle once to just rule out the thing, right? Saying that, okay, there isn't anything that has happened in here, right? So the rescue team went into the jungle, right? That's when we got split into two groups. Faisal and also Shiv went along with them to the nearby place, and they also started flying there parallelly, right? So while I was flying from the top, these two were actually flying, from the lower area there. So it was kind of a scene where the entire area was fogged up, right? Not all the things were clearly visible. And the rescue team also needed our help in order to identify which particular spot was it, right? Where the incident might have happened. Because once you go below, below that mountain, which is almost 250, 300 feet, 300 meters down, nobody would be able to tell that, okay, this might be the spot or anything as such. So we leaded, them to the spot where exactly, the incident might have happened. So initially we went on the top of the surface, we scanned for his belongings, so we could identify that was a spot where he actually was found the last time, right? Where he had sent a message to one of his friends asking that, it was for his reference and so on. So we started from there. Right, and then slowly we declined towards the mountain, and we could we could actually trace that, okay, that there could be some story that might have happened.
So the first clue you got it because of the belonging that you found on top.
Correct.
And then you went inside to see more of it, like if the person is there or not.
Correct.
And then what happened?
So after that, we identified a plant which was almost in mid of the mountain.
Okay.
Right.
So the cliff was there and his belonging was there. We are just following the trail of the thing. So the cliff was here. We are just flying straight towards that. And around 250 meter below the straight point of that trail, we found a plantain tree that was damaged, that was broken, and it was also scrapped. And we could see that from far with the drone. Then Sharath was the one who was operating the drone. So what he did was he tried zooming in and he found some stain on the plantain tree. So he suspected that to be the one. So he was flying my Mini 4, which does not have optical zoom. Then later on, he flew his drone, which has optical zoom, and he zoomed into that.
So optical zoom is basically the feature that helps you to zoom into an object very closely. Through the
maintaining the quality of
something like a phone. On the phone you have digital zoom. So digital zoom, what happens is it won't be that clear. So optical zoom, which other camera has, if you zoom into that, we can see it clearly.
So you saw the stains clearly after that.
Then what he did was he said, okay, that could be the point where we can start from. So he hovered the drone up where the rescue team was in the side of the mountain they were searching for. So there's an option in on the drone where there is a ambient light which we can turn on. So he turned on the light and told them that, okay, this is the point where you need to come in. And the rescue team followed that drone path and they reached that point over there. And they found the tree. Just below the tree, they found
the body of the person that you were looking for initially.
Exactly.
Okay. So also, can you tell us what are the challenges, and is like drones usually used only in hilly areas, or can it be used in cities like Bangalore, metro cities? What is that? If you could tell us about that as well.
Well, as a hobbyist, we use it for photography. We also use it for video recording. I do have an Instagram channel, and he does one. So, what do you?
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you ask the same question to different people, I think there will be different perspective, right? So drones basically are being restricted in the city. The reason is we have public in here, right? So generally people might not like someone else, filming them,
Privacy
right?
Yeah.
Privacy issue, basically. And there are also, Bangalore being a very big city, right? There are a lot of NFZs here where we can't fly drones freely, right? Because there are pathways for the flights and those stuff. So that might be a restricted zone for us as well. So nowadays, drones are so technologically advanced because they can easily spot out like where is that particular zone which is an NFZ, right? Where we can't fly the drones now. So earlier it wasn't the case, right? So earlier anybody could go and fly anywhere, right?
Yeah.
It was more of a risky situation for all of us. Now drones are so advanced that there's a geozone locking and all this stuff. Our drone, even intentionally, if you want to go to the NFZ, it doesn't go.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't let us to operate there.
That's blocked completely.
Correct. It's blocked completely there, right? So within the cities, we have this kind of a scene. So while there are other green zones, right? Apart from this non-NFZ zones or non-public zones, all of these are generally the green zones where we could go ahead and fly easily, right? And especially this forest zones and all these things come under red zone where we shouldn't fly because these are some kind of a reservoirs for the country, right? So of course, there are some of the challenges, right, which we have to deal with the local people, right? When we are flying our drones, we might have to get, in certain places, we might have to get permission to fly there, right? And in certain places, we doesn't require, any permission. So his drone is basically comes into a micro category, right, which is under 250 grams, which he can fly pretty much in majority of the places, right? And it doesn't practically require any of the permission to be bought. Whereas my drone is a little bigger drone, right? It would, in some of the places, it would generally need some sort of a permission, right, for me to fly because it's over and above like 507, closer to 750 grams, right? And, it requires some additional permissions and those stuff. I mean, not everywhere though, but in some places to fly. So there are some restrictions and, also a freedom to fly.
Depends on the place again.
Correct.
So what were the challenges that you faced in the hilly area when you were looking for the missing person? What were the challenges that you guys were facing?
The first thing is that Sharath was on the mountain, parallel to that. So anything where there is any obstacles are there, like big mountains, a big tree which is blocking the drone from you visible or the controller, then there'll be a signal issue.
Okay.
So Sharath didn't have face any issue. We went deep in the jungle where there are a lot of trees and we are below the mountain level. And those places we are having a lot of signal issues. So when you come across a place and there is a hurdle there, like a tree or a mountain cliff, if you go around it, then we will find we will lose signal. So that is one of the challenge we have. Apart from that, it was around 2:30 and it was a little misty that time. So fog is another issue where we have challenges.
It rained also.
And we cannot fly in the rain. So it is not waterproof.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that could be one of the
It was
challenges.
windy, right? It was too windy, and
Correct.
with our drones being so technologically advanced, I think we were able to
Manage the winds.
Manage the winds. Otherwise, with the normal drones, I think it's going to be a little
So the
difficult.
weather also plays in.
Yes,
role.
it does. It
Correct.
In this.
And also there is one more thing that if you're flying low altitude, below the ground level, then the gravitational pull will be more. So the motor loads up more. So the battery will be drained fast.
Depleting a little fast.
Fast. That is one of the challenges.
Also, like you use drones to find a missing person, but can drones be used in other cases as well? Because in India we have a lot of pending cases, in terms of kidnapping or murder. There are a lot of crimes happening. Recently in Bangalore, a leopard was roaming around openly, and though drones were used, it was a huge problem because it was in the open, the public faced difficulties. So like private drone pilots like you guys, can you all pitch in, and does it help? If you could tell us about that as well.
Yes, most definitely we can use it because this drone has like 20-kilometer range. So we can fly from one spot and we can reach, we cannot go 20 kilometers because the battery will not support that. But then we can go at least like 5-6 kilometers where we still have the signal and we can search for it. In case there's a leopard like maybe 2-3 kilometers away from us, like the case you are mentioning, we can definitely spot that. And apart from that, we can also use night surveillance where any robbery or any missing case can be used in many ways as such.
So it can be a collaborative process between government and private operators like you.
Yes.
To help to solve the better problems of the
Correct.
society.
Definitely.
Okay.
Has to be an hand-in-hand thing.
Operation. Yeah.
Are you aware of it? Like, is there any government, like in your groups, or does it happen that the governments, if they need something, they approach you, or are you aware of such platforms or anywhere where it happens? Is there a collaborative process?
No, as the drone technology is just still coming up in India, I don't think anything like that is active. But in this missing case, we did work with the police department, and we did work with the forest department and the rescue team, and we are able to coexist at the same time, and we could find a good result out of that. So in the future, hopefully something will come up, something like that. Yeah. So where we can help the government and the people around, and we'll be happy to do that actually.
So this is the last question. What do you see the future of drones? Where do you see it?
Well, drone technology has been going amazingly well. Like when I started a drone, it didn't have 4K recording or anything else. Right now we have 4K. When I was flying, it can only connect to Wi-Fi initially. Now we have something called OcuSync. Right now I am using OcuSync 4, which is very advanced, which can reach up to 20 kilometers signal range, video signal range. So that's very good. And also there is something called return to home feature. So we fly somewhere and we go to a different point, and you can update that in a remote, and drone will come back to you. Yeah. Wherever you are, maybe 2 kilometers. You drive, you take off in one position. You drive like 3 kilometers away from that, and then you update your home point. The drone will come to you. So there is a massive technology that is going on.
Yeah, adding on to this, right? I think the one edge that drone technology has is it can go to the places where nobody else can go, right? Practically, an individual can't imagine of flying and going there to those spots. So that's one best thing about drones, right?
For example, the search what we did.
Yeah.
Can anyone go 200, 300 meter above the mountain?
Yeah.
It's not possible for anyone to do, an average person to do.
Correct. And with a lot of advancement that's happening in this drone space, and I think it's going to play a very important role, right? As like how you stated, it can come for rescue operations. It can come for survey operations, right? It can also come. I mean, a lot of them are also using for their vlogs, right?
Yeah.
Or also for weddings and those so on. So I think with more and more advancements in drone, I think it's gonna really gonna be a very interesting journey especially for all our drone pilots, right? So. I think it's the best technology to have, and we need to equally embrace it, right? We need to respect the technology in a way it's supposed to be. So that's the whole point.
Also, I think a lot of people have started using drone for deliveries, or at least it's still there. Like, companies are talking about it that for medicines, we had recently gone for Mangaluru Tech Fest, where we saw that students were trying. This was a project. It was a pilot project where, they thought that they would deliver medicines using drones. That's still there, like it has not been launched yet. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so delivery is a very good thing that's been doing. Like in India, it's now, I don't know how far it's established, but if you go to countries like Europe and US, they are already performing it. They do deliveries, they do food deliveries. Maybe a friend who wants to deliver something to other friend, he can just drop it. So that is already happening, but it is yet to come. It's yet to come.
India is still a evolving country, right? We are getting adopted to the new technologies, and of course, there is also an equal scope for us to grow in this space, right? Where drones can definitely be used for deliveries, provided the drones need to be capable enough to handle those weights and all those stuff, right? And it requires a lot of additional skills also for someone to operate it. Well, a lot of it can be automated in future, right? Well, majority of these deliveries that you're seeing are being operated, right? Just left onto the route using the GPS, and it just picks up the product and goes there, delivers it, and comes back, right? So to that level, this entire thing can be used. Yes, in fact.
Also, there's one more thing. In Bangalore, we have cables, we have tall buildings, and it depends again area to area what it is. Are our cities suitable for such technologies, metro cities?
to tackle that, my drone, for example, Mini 4 Pro, it has something called 360-degree optical avoidance.
Okay.
So if you're flying somewhere close to an object, it'll not go further. So normally when you're going to a point A to point B, we do fly it around like at least like above 40 meter ground level, so that in that in that altitude there is no hurdles or obstacles which is there. So once we reach there, then we go to a point, then we see it through our camera, then we can find out like whether it's suitable to land or go further. So we need to judge that.
Okay,
So it's all
it depends on the operator, the pilots
Exactly.
who will do it.
Also, the drones has the technology, as I said. It has the sensor technology, which senses any obstacles that comes in between. Right? Of course, the minute things might not be sensed properly, but the buildings and the big cables and the trees and all these things
The
can
visible-
be easily.
There are three options in that. Like either you can turn off the obstacle avoidance, where you can just fly further. There's another option where it will stop.
Okay.
You go to a point where you see a tree and you want to fly further, it won't let you.
Okay.
There is another option called bypass,
Okay.
where you go to a tree and then a drone goes and it finds another route, it turns and then goes to that point.
Also, one more thing, are like the drone pilots, like you guys, is there specific training that you have to go to, or anybody can operate? Like, can I learn it and start operating? What is it like? If you could tell our audience about that also.
With the technology what we have in these days, it's very easy for a person to learn, but there are a lot of technical things that you need to know, and how you take off, how you return to home. There are some features. So myself, for example, I've just watched some YouTube videos. I got along with friends. There is a person called Kim in the group. He's the admin of the group. So he helped me through a lot of things to learn. But I didn't go through any training or such.
Okay.
And moreover, my drone comes under nano category, which doesn't require a license. So I didn't learn officially anything as such. I learned it on my own.
Okay.
But if you want to be a professional photographer, not a hobbyist, maybe you may have to get the license done, because anything that's above nano category drone, it requires a license to be flown.
Okay.
Community, and we can help the people who really want to get into the space, right? I mean, in fact, Kim has been visiting some of the institutions, giving them to train them, and
he's also been cooperating with the government institution as well, and he did some road
surveys, the tunnel surveys and those stuff, right?
Railway tunnels and everything.
Correct. And all of us, in fact, like whenever we have this gathering, whoever doesn't know how to operate it, we're going to help them, right? So that's the whole point of having this group in this place. And I think for somebody who really needs to learn it, it's not so difficult as how it was before, earlier, right? Now with the advancement of technology, you have everything, under your control in the
We
in
have
the remote.
obstacle avoidance. We
Correct.
have return to home.
Correct.
It can withstand more wind and everything. So if you're in the group, where, for example, as we are right now, Sharath knows a lot of things which I don't know. He's a better pilot because he's been doing for 5 years. I cannot operate so smoothly as he can. But for what he learned from is at night time I used to go and daringly fly. So he joined me in the night time to fly. So we share ideas, knowledge. So it's always...
So one more thing, what would be your message to, young drone enthusiasts who are just learning or who wants to get into this space, who are exploring it? What would be your message to those young people?
Yeah, this is a fantastic thing and interesting thing to do. So I would encourage all the youngsters to join us and make sure that you take necessary precaution. You do not go to a no-fly zone and start flying over there. That's not which is advisable. So learn it the right way and do the right thing and do something good for the community as well. So that's what I could and you do have a lot of resources like YouTube and other things where you can learn from. So that's where I learn from. So
that's a
They can also get in touch with us if they want.
yeah, we have a drone group. Anyone who wants to buy a drone or who wants to learn basic things, it can be a part of our group, and we can definitely guide them through that. So
They definitely need to have, basically, like anybody can learn it, as I told, right? So it's only depends on their interest to learn it. I mean, it's for someone who is really interested, he will definitely learn, right? No matter how difficult it is. And I'm saying this because it's not that difficult for someone to think that, okay, मेरे काम का नहीं होगा, like I can't do it, right? It's not of that sort. Anybody can do it, but please, they need to follow certain rules, where certain rules are meant to be, especially for this airspace, right? We face a lot of challenges, where we are not supposed to fly, right? And especially in those places, they should not fly and, abide, follow the rules that has been laid out from Digital Sky, who is basically, setting up all these rules for the drone pilots and also the other airspace operators, right? And provided if they're following all of this sort, and I think anybody can learn it, and it's going to be a wonderful journey for them. And I think probably they will be equally, more motivated that even than us to go in front and do other sort of things, right? Other good
And
things.
explore
Correct.
what it can be.
Exactly.
So be a responsible drone pilot.
That's more important.
That's a good message to end with. Thank you so much for doing this.
It was so pleasure talking to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.